principles upon which Phi Sigma Sigma were founded here in New York City 100 years ago are the same today as they were then. The tenets of friendship, faith, sincerity, secrecy, love, and sisterhood are as true now in 2013 as they were in 1913. We graduated from Shirley's House and in 1928 had a central office at 165 Broadway in New York. It housed one desk and one file case. There were no official employees. It was staffed entirely by volunteers, including the national officers. We grew fast and we grew smart. The Great Depression defined the 1930s, though we continued to have conventions and our fraternity moved ever forward. We were not immune to the difficult financial times. At the 1932 convention, a fund was made available to upper class members who could not afford to finish school in order to help them graduate. In addition, a fee for the Sphinx was rolled out into the national dues, which were changed to be more equitable for smaller chapters. The March 1938 issue of the Sphinx was a songbook issue and included several pages of songs submitted by collegiate chapters. One of the songs published was the Preference Night Hymn, which we now recognize today as our official hymn to the tune of the Lieberstrom. It was submitted by Paula Berman and Sylvia Robinson of Zeta Chapter. The 1940s were dominated by World War II and the changes it brought to our world. All across Phi Sigma Sigma, collegians and alumni joined the war effort. Many collegiate and alumni chapters supported the Red Cross, or USO. The fraternity kept a chart detailing every chapter's war efforts. By January 1943, collegiate chapters had donated more than $6,100 to various war charities.
And rattle those pots and pans. Get out in that kitchen and rattle.
Phi Sigma Sigma kicked off our 50s at the 25th convention in Bedford Springs, Pennsylvania. In 1951, we became a full member of NPC. Clarice Harrison Markowitz, Pi, 1926, served as our first delegate, a position she held until 1985.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
During this decade, hot campus topics touch on student freedom such as dress codes, course requirements, discrimination by sororities and fraternities, and minority admissions. The anti-discriminatory sentiment, especially along racial and religious lines, impacted Greek organizations, including Phi Sigma Sigma, throughout the 1960s and into the 1970s. The 1960s marked our golden anniversary, which was celebrated at Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City in 1963.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on for.
We kicked off the decade at Leadership Training Conference at Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Phi Sigma Sigma was not immune to the downturn in Greek life, and we lost several chapters during this period, including Alpha Chapter in 1976. In the 1980s, Greek life was on the rise. Phi Sigma Sigma welcomed an incredible 44 new chapters in the 1980s, almost half the total number of chapters we'd installed during our 75th year history.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me.
The 1990s started with the Gulf War and ended with Y2K. It was the dawn of a new information age as the World Wide Web became available in every home and computers became staples like VCRs and microwaves before them. The 1990s brought many new programs to Phi Sigma Sigma, most notably with Reflections in 1995 and then Vision, which rolled out in the 2000s. Emphasis was placed on member education and sisterhood development throughout the decade. Our conventions and leadership training schools, as well as the Sphinx magazine, featured many topics of the day, from friendship in the age of AIDS to risk management to hazing to self-esteem. In 2000, Phi Sigma Sigma debuted a new logo, a stemmed red rose and a single leaf, a graphic that is still used though in many different colors and without the stem, and a tagline, aspire, act, achieve. In 2004, after 92 years of a somewhat transient existence, Phi Sigma Sigma took a momentous step when we purchased our first permanent headquarters in Elk Ridge, Maryland, right outside Baltimore. Several past Grand Archons attended the ribbon cutting in the fall of 2005. It was Janine Jacob Goldberg's last fraternity event, as she did pass away January 31st, 2006. How wonderful that one of Phi Sigma Sigma's true luminaries could witness how far we have come.
A woman who serves is a woman who leads. I will devote myself at all times to upholding the ideals of Phi Sigma Sigma. I believe in faith, love, and sincerity. I will find strength in the lifelong friendships I share in the bonds of our sisterhood. I believe in the advancement of womanhood. I will make the most of educational opportunities